victories we've won. I could go on and on and on about your works, because I'm grateful, grateful, so grateful just to have your works. Come on. Flowing from my heart, the issues of my heart is gratefulness. His gratefulness. His gratefulness. Are you grateful? His gratefulness. His gratefulness.
Good morning. Women of audacious faith. Thank you, God, for today, for such a time as this, for bringing us together, for Lethea, our guide, our mentor. Thank you for her soul and her spirit and her energy. Y'all know about her energy, right? Okay. Now, I could stand up here and just say ditto and sit down, but I have been so wanting to connect with you. I'm going to stay up here, and you're going to hear things you've heard, and that's good, because repetition is good. Wow, you all look amazing. And that's because you are. You are. You're stronger than you know. You're more loved than you believe. You're worthier than you think. And because you're here right now, you are passionate about making a difference. But guess what? You didn't have a choice. You had a biological and a biblical guarantee, a promise. Do you know 200 to 600 million sperm fought to decide who was going to be you? So your DNA came shouting, "Survivor, I am woman, hear me roar," right? Then you have your biblical guarantee. Psalm 139 is telling you that God knew you before you were. He created your innermost being. He knit you together in your mother's womb. And y'all know God don't make no junk. So everybody in here is fearfully and wonderfully made. And because we are exceeding all expectations as entrepreneurs, leaderpreneurs, game changers, mothers, wives, caregivers, and so much more. My question is this: as we go about our daily lives, balancing all of the competing priorities, exceeding in every way, even taking the time to get the appropriate mani-pedi, does anybody in this room besides me ever get tired? Let me know. Anybody? I have been to the point where I was tired of being tired. I named that place Stuck. And the reason I named it Stuck is because it stood between my no longer, where I was cool, but my not yet, where I was destined to go, where I was created to be. But stuck, it had a flavor of tired, angry, maybe betrayed, depressed. It was keeping me from. What I learned, however, in my journey is that stuck has two faces. It's all of the things I just said to you, and it is a place of repositioning, renewal, restoration. Stuck, that face of stuck, can have you see that you're not alone. It can have you get in touch with the fact that, yes, you do have everything you need to get to where you want to go. It can be the test where your testimony is born. That stuck, the good face of stuck, is where faith in its embryo form gets born, it grows, it flexes muscles, it becomes bold, and then it becomes audacious. And I want to stop there a minute and ask your permission. I'd like to share a testimony of a really good friend of mine. And it shows both faces of stuck. Is that okay with you? I will start with some highlights, I won't take it all, of her professional resume. Acclaimed teacher and principal. Youngest member of the clinical staff of the University of California at San Diego. White House Fellow candidate. HEW recipient. 22 years in IBM, when people like her were not doing the things that she was doing. And as she ended her career, she was a member, executive marketing consultant member of IBM Global Services. She was an entrepreneur. She built a business where she responded to the needs of kids home alone, disenfranchised. She called it the sixth dimension, a place where they could feel safe and they could learn and interact and never feel alone. She also managed in her spare time to be a wife for 20 years, a mother of 2 stepsons. Blended families do have their challenges, and a caregiver. She was a Sunday school teacher, a consultant, a coach, and a mentor. Now I'd like to give you just a tad of her resume of pain and suffering and perseverance that was woven in between that successful professional story. At age 25, she was beaten near to death by 2 policemen in the Jim Crow South. She and her mother were stopped for going 10 miles above the speed limit. She was separated, handcuffed, thrown into the back of a car. They threw her off, took her off to somewhere she knew not where. They stopped only once, and that was to beat her severely, to let her know her kind were getting too bold. They took her to a local lockup. They didn't book her. The only name they called her was the N-word, and they left her. But this is what you need to know. Not only do we have to possess audacious faith, we have to believe that the God our Father has audacious faithfulness. He took that faithfulness. He moved her from the cell. He took her to the emergency room. He put her in the bed in her mother's house. The family doctor came daily to deal with her broken ribs, her broken nose, her cuts, her bruises, her swelling. He could medicate her pain, but nobody in that room could medicate where she was in that dark place. You and I know it as PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. But God, that's when this 25-year-old learned that grace is more than amazing. It is sufficient. That's when she learned and heard mercy say, no, I'm not going to let you go. It's not over. You are more than what you have become. So grace and mercy covered her and loved her. And she walked back into the world. Only to find out at age 30, her daddy, her king of everything, was dying. Wait a minute, she only met him when he was 4, when he came home from the war in the Veterans Hospital. She'd been away 8 years at college and graduate school and working. She didn't have time. Then she found out her mother was going to leave her, queen of everything. So there she was, an only child and alone, and she was looking for love in all the wrong places, and she was raped. And then she began to wear shame as her daily secret accessories. She married a man not of God's choosing, but of hers. I mean, he had all the trappings. He was handsome. He had a doctorate, and he could dance. Come on, what more could you want? But after 18 years of marriage, she found every morning when she was putting on her makeup, she was also applying a mask. She wore that mask as she left her door each morning. 2 acres, 250 trees, water an island out back. And to the world, she was saying, yes, we are the perfect couple. Yes, we are successful. And at night when she came back, she closed the door. Her mask fell apart. She was showing the pain and the abuse. See, no one had taught her how to live with a functional alcoholic. Then one day, her life just stopped. The air went out of her tires. She just sat. She didn't care. Her civic leadership opportunities fading away. She was dysfunctional at work, in her marriage. She didn't care. Her husband was furious. But she knew she was in trouble, so she called the IBM mental health line. They gave her a therapist who gave her Prozac and a chance to meet with him 3 times a week. So her furious husband went and said, look, I don't know what's wrong with her. She's not the woman I married. She's no fun, and you fix her or I'm gone. Truth was, he was gone anyway. He was playing golf with the woman that would be his next wife. She didn't care. But she decided to fix it. Forget all about all of them. She was going to fix it. She got in her car and she drove on a backcountry road 100 miles an hour. She saw a tree. That'll fix it. And she sped up. And she saw a little girl playing at the tree. Where were her parents? Who was going to protect the little girl? And she just turned the wheel and the dirt and the dust and the brake, and she jumped out. Where's the little girl? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? A couple stopped and said, ma'am, are you okay? She said, help me find the little girl. Where is she? Where is she? Ma'am, there's no little girl. The locked suicide ward took the rest of her spirit. She gave up her voice. The couple had called 911, who had taken her to the emergency room, who called her husband and her therapist. Her therapist said, you know what? Prozac has an interesting side effect. It makes you think about suicide. Well, she was an overachiever. So she wasn't going to think about it. She was going to do it. So her husband leaves. Her therapist gets up from his desk. He comes around and he says, so Tyra, you don't want to talk? Here's a journal, write. And I did. But it was more than writing. I felt a presence there beyond myself. A presence who said, give me your broken pieces and your pain. And that presence walked with me through the valley of the shadow of death, anointed my head with oil, taught me that I was worthy. He said, Tyra, reach down, get that courage. You're not over. I got stuff for you to do. And I did. My posture returned to what Mother taught me how to walk. I began to love myself, treat myself like someone I loved. I began to talk a different talk. God had changed my name from betrayed to beloved, from depressed to delivered. I was transformed. I can never be who I was, but I can be who He wants me to be. And you know what? I beat the brain tumor. I beat the thyroid cancer. I beat the heart attack. They told me after the car accident, they said, you're not going to walk again. So what are you talking about? I can dance. Because I have audacious faith and I have a God who is audaciously faithful. Now here I am. I'm in the December of my life. I need to be sitting my behind down. And yet still I rise. My first book, The Memory Box, there's interest in making it a one-woman play. I just finished my second book, Beyond the Words Our Lives Speak. I found an illustrator for my newest children's product. I am mentoring young women. They are allowing me to be their Naomi, and I am allowing them to be my Ruth. Now that is the wrapping of the inspirational message I want you to have from me today. And make it a mental post-it so you can take it out when you need to. It will say when you do, every morning that you wake up, God is telling you, you're not over. You are not who you're about to become. He's going to say to you, you know that biological and that biblical guarantee? I want you to take that and I want you to wrap it in some audacious faith. And then I want you to soar on the wings of eagles. I want you to run and not get weary. I want you to walk and not faint, because God loves you so much. And this is me, Tyra, loving up on you as well. God bless.